With the economy still working its way out of a recession, one industry that has taken a hit is the newspaper industry. Last year, newspaper advertising revenue fell 26% nationally. Online advertising saw its first decline since 2002. Some newspapers have started charging customers for access to online content, also known as a paywall. The Albuquerque Journal started requiring online payments back in 2001. The Santa Fe New Mexican currently doesn't charge for their newspaper online, but has recently set up a subscription for the Pasatiempo, their weekly arts magazine. Henry Lopez from the New Mexican says so far people have been receptive to the idea of paying for a subscription.
At the New Mexican, we were looking at what is the experience of Pasatiempo. And anyone who's enjoyed that magazine knows that part of it is as much the aesthetic of what it is as the content. And for a long time, we've been receiving calls from folks in Santa Fe, around the country, and in fact in other countries who had connections to Santa Fe, who wanted to be able to see the full magazine. And that was one of the reasons that we went to the subscription model. Well, what we do know is that people are definitely open to the idea of the subscription for Pasatiempo, for sure.
As for the newspaper itself, Lopez says they are waiting to see what happens within the industry.
We're going to be looking at what's happening around the industry right now because there's a lot of talk about that here in Santa Fe and around the country. We don't have any plans in place right now to do that, though. We have actually in the past had a online subscription model available for the newspaper that was a, similar to the new Pasatiempo product. It was a replica of the newspaper available online. At that time, people didn't respond to it so well, but now the tools have gotten better, the display has gotten better, and you're really able to see something like Pasatiempo much better. But right now, we don't have any plans to go behind a paywall.
The Albuquerque Journal does charge customers for online access. The paywall has been in place since 2001. Don Friedman at the Albuquerque Journal explains the two main reasons why the paper decided to go that route.
It was twofold. One was that our content was valuable, and by not having a price on it, it devalued it. And the second was, why should the 100,000 people every day and 150,000 people on Sunday who were paying for our product be subsidizing the people who believe that they should be able to access it without any fee?
Since going behind the paywall, the Albuquerque Journal has not seen a big decrease in hits on its website. However, they didn't get the growth they were accustomed to. Prior to 2001, the paper's online viewing increased yearly from 25 to 100%. Friedman is not concerned with the effect on online advertising sales, as they don't bring in as much as print advertising.
Print advertising still pays the bills, and it pays a lot more of the bills than the online advertising can because the advertisers are not willing to pay at the same rate. Paywall really is much more about getting people to continue to buy a printed product. As far as advertising drop-off, advertising on the web is valued so lowly by advertisers that for the most part, what happened is 10 years ago we were able to charge up to $20 per thousand people who saw an ad. Well, what happened is as the number of websites propagated, that number went down further and further.
The Albuquerque Journal is independently owned. Friedman says there's no board of directors driving the decisions on whether or not there should be a paywall. He says the value in what they do needs to be sustained, and a paywall is just one way of doing that.
If we don't have vibrant watchdogs keeping up with what's going on in our government, then the public loses. And if there's not a sustainable business model that pays to have someone like Tom Cole on the ground in Santa Fe working on projects for months at a time, then we all lose. And there's nothing evil or wrong about a business making money if it's supporting the public good.
Don Friedman, Albuquerque Journal. The Santa Fe New Mexican is also independently owned. Henry Lopez says the newspaper industry is constantly evolving, and they will continue to weigh the option of implementing a paywall to their site.
I just think the most important thing is that this is an evolving conversation, and we're a local company like anyone else, and we're operating in the economy, but we're very confident about the future of the New Mexican and local media here in Santa Fe. Are there big challenges? Oh yeah, there are amazing challenges going on locally and throughout the newspaper industry. But has this industry gone through these types of problems before? Sure.
Henry Lopez, Santa Fe, New Mexican. For KSFR News, this is Rachel Kennedy.